So the more pushback you have is giving you an opportunity to align with your message. I want you to remember that. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It does not mean you're wrong. It means that let's get more firm, let's get more connected to what your message is and really, really believe in that message. And that'll show you how, like, the work that you need to do for alignment. Welcome to the 2025 month-by-month reading. This is where I dive into all the things that I see month to month to month going throughout the year, starting in January, ending with December, and what things you should be focusing on, what things you should be aware of for each individual month, and how they might unfold for everybody as a global community. Remember, this is still global community based. But it's really important to understand the energetics. So let's dive into what you can expect month by month as we navigate through 2025. And I will tell you, okay, I was just like writing some things. I was curling my hair, writing some things down, and I was like, oh my God, freaking major life changes in the first quarter of the year. And the guides were like, yes. Major life changes in the first quarter of the year, and they're fast. Now, I want to back up because I can just hear my guides, but somebody being like, my life didn't change at all in the first quarter. It's globally, life is changing in the first quarter. And I promise you, if you're showing up, if you're taking action, this is where somebody said, I love to hear that it's going to go fast for those of us who are been slow movers. Yes. This is where you have that opportunity to have really fast manifestations, for you to be able to have those like shifts within inside of your life and things really happening for you, because you're going to be stepping into the energy, and the energy is literally going to be picking you up and moving you forward. A lot of things are being tossed around, which means that, like, let's say that something's reorganized and then it's reorganized again and then it's reorganized a third time. That's absolutely okay. It doesn't mean that you can't make a decision. It means that you're truly starting to align with what's absolutely perfect. I see this on a personal level as well as a global level. So there's a lot of things that's just going to feel like they're not solidified, that they're not, that you're not confident in yet, because you're kind of tossing things around, seeing how they work, seeing how they land, seeing who grabs them up, seeing how they align with you before you make these solid decisions, because you're really trying to find your footing. So you like got the start of the year, you're running, you know what you're doing, you're taking action. And now it's really about finding that footing so you can be this solid force behind those messages, behind that. Because as we move into March is really about being seen, being heard, having a loud voice, really speaking, really like pushing your message out there in a very soul-aligned way, like a very divine way versus an ego way. But really, like, this March is a phenomenal time for like a book launch, for something new, launching a podcast. Like, it's all about your words. It's all about you speaking. It's all about you being true to yourself. It's all about you saying, I believe in this and I don't align with this and I agree with that. That's really going to be super important for this March energy. And that's kind of where we were like tossing things around at the end of February in order for you to really say, this aligns with me in March. March is also like one of those big push boards. Like, you could have leaps and bounds of differences in March. March is one of those months that it could feel like you ever hear somebody, and I don't agree with this. I've seen a lot of channels lately say things like, oh, somebody hijacked our timeline and we're on a different timeline now because like a spirit hijacked it. For one, nobody's hijacking the timelines, okay? But for two, it can feel like that. It can feel like all of a sudden you were headed down this road and then life was literally just like, do, and you're like heading down this road and all these things are unfolding. All these things that maybe you like didn't plan were happening, and now they're all happening. Okay. So this is one of those things that like things come out of the blue and all of a sudden they're perfectly aligned for you. That's going to be March. So these surprise happenings, these newfound directions in your business and in your life, and this like reorganization of alignment with your purpose. It doesn't mean that you're changing your purpose, but the way in which you distribute it. Do you remember I said that if you're supposed to be sharing love or giving love to the universe or to the world, that there's many different ways that you can do it? March is going to show you the best way that you should be giving love to the world or your purpose. Not everybody's is love. Now, there is going to be, as this bigger energy is coming in, March is a month where there could be a lot of tension, a lot of ego, more fighting. It feels like there's like a lot of like almost like boiling up. It feels like very lava-y in the first quarter of the year. So there can be a lot of ego. Now, both outward, meaning there can be attacks on you. I'm not saying like, yes, this is absolutely possible, but I'm not saying everyone's gonna, it's more verbal attacks or energetic attacks versus somebody like attacking you. Now, of course, there will be attacks in March across the globe. But it feels more of like somebody attacking your person, somebody attacking your truth, somebody, and it's really that testing thing. It's that idea of how much do you believe in what you speak? How much do you trust yourself? How aligned are you with your message? And the universe is going to make sure you're super aligned with your message. So there might be some pushback. There might be some, like I experienced this last month when somebody said that, there's some higher power that determines whether evil people or bad people who did bad things get into heaven. And I was like, absolutely not. And somebody like attacked me for it. And I was just like, okay, I'm so solid in my truth that this is absolutely what it is. And I double down on my truth because that's what it is. And so this is what March is going to be. It's like, do you really believe in this? Are you really aligned with your truth? Are the beliefs that you hold really true to the beliefs that you're sharing? So this is going to show you whether you've embodied or not. Wherever you waver, wherever you question, wherever you doubt, you want to do your inner work in order to do that. Okay. And there is going to be a lot of noise and a lot of opinions about it. There's going to be a lot of people that might question it. The more that you like I posted a post the other day that said like, hey, this is what the election is really about. Like this isn't about right or wrong, who won. It's about community coming together. And my daughter's been watching social media a lot, and she's like, did you have a lot of people like push back on that? I was like, I had one person that was like, is this why all the white people went out and voted? And I was just like, I hope you voted for your own personal reason, as I assume everybody else did. It is the only pushback I ever got on any of my posts that I posted because I'm really aligned with my message. So the more pushback you have is giving you an opportunity to align with your message. I want you to remember that. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It does not mean you're wrong. It means that let's get more firm. Let's get more connected to what your message is and really, really believe in that message. And that'll show you how, like, the work that you need to do for alignment. Then we get into April, May, and June. April, May, and June are like an inner focus. They are an inner working period while still being required to do the outer work. Because when you're living your purpose never takes a break. Okay. It just doesn't take a break. It's not done. You're not like, oh, well, let me take a step back. And all those people I was serving, I'll get back with you in a moment. But April, May, and June is really this inner work period. And April is starting with an ascension period. So April is an opportunity for you to really increase your awareness, that clarity. Remember with the 9, we talked about like when you get to like that apex aspect of your journey and all this clarity comes in and you have this new spiritual awareness, that's going to happen in April. It is going to time where you're like, things are settling in. There's a break in the chaos. There are these moments or pockets of silence, and we really want you to use them. So in the first 3 months, it feels like there's a lot of outward voices, a lot of messages that you're sharing, a lot of talking. Now this is part of that inner reflection. April is really one of those times where you get to be in this space of really doing your own inner due diligence and looking at where do I need to align even deeper? What do I need to let go of that March showed me that I'm not fully trusting or believing, and that I'm still holding some limiting beliefs in order for me to align with even deeper, okay? There's going to be less attention on the outer world. It's almost like there's like the calm before the storm. Or like being in the eye of the storm? That's what it feels like. That's what April feels like. So there's still a lot of like things going on, but it's going to feel as if we're like in the eye of the storm where it's like silent and like things are still. And it's not that things aren't moving. A lot of things are moving behind the scenes, but there might be a period of time in April where you're like, oh my God, can things just pick up? I wanted to manifest this stuff and nothing's coming in. Doesn't mean that you can't manifest. Some people are still going to manifest that junk out of April, okay? But there is this stillness and this silence for a reason. It's a self-awareness time. So really coming back within, more on self. But there is this like period of reassessment of what you're doing, not because we're changing it, but because we're aligning and embodying deeper to it. So these reassessing periods that you're going to come about aren't because, like, oh my God, you're doing something wrong. It's how can I go even deeper? How can I go even bigger? How can I make even a bigger impact? Okay. And there is going to be this newfound commitment. As you do that, you're going to be like, I want to adjust this. I'm adjusting this and I'm committing to this more. We're opening up that heart space and leaning into what you're doing more and more and more. So this has been amazing. Thank you guys so much. I'm so glad. I know I ran so over on time, but there was so much information. I probably could keep talking about this over and over and over again. More stuff coming, and I will be sharing more. I would love for you guys to share your feedback. So if you post a story or you send me a message that I can share regarding this, so that more people get to see this, more we put this out there so more people could see that, I would really absolutely love it.